After that, we got Private Party, who had a championship celebration. Gee, man, the geniuses in the creative department, man. How many championship celebrations do we need? They won the championship on October 30th. Fucking ridiculous. They're out there, championship celebration with a couple of ladies. They got the VIP section roped off. They're drinking whatever they're drinking. So they're coming out and they're drinking, and all of a sudden they're interrupted by the Hurt Syndicate. MVP says they like to party too, and they're allowed into the VIP section, saying that he was the one to invent this kind of party. MVP says it's time to raise a toast to Private Party, proposing a toast. And Bobby Lashley says, here's to the Hurt Syndicate taking those tag team titles. MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin pour their drinks into the ice bucket, and they make their way to the ring for Lashley's upcoming match with Mark Briscoe. Now, this has been a common discussion on this platform, so much so that Mark Quinn, I was leaving the HOG Arena in New York at our last show for our December show, and he sees me leaving. He says, "Oh, look, it's the Heat Machine." I'm like, listen, I love Private Party. I think they're great. House of Glory fucking OGs. Called many Private Party match in House of Glory. Every time they show up, it's fucking great. Love those guys. I hate the fact that they have done both of these guys dirty. And what I mean by that is... And all the sickos, they want to believe that there's some fabricated story here. They won the tag team championships based off nothing. They had one match with the Young Bucks, which was decent, right? I won't call it match of the year candidate or anything. They came very close, and all of a sudden they were in this storyline, and they were chasing the tag team titles. They want to, get over that mountain and become the tag team that everybody expected them to be. They get the match, and they win the tag team titles on October 30th on Dynamite. Jesse, when I tell you they haven't made one Dynamite appearance since winning the tag team titles until tonight, November, December, January, 2 months. 2 months and a few weeks they haven't been on Dynamite. So I'm asking, where's the story? Where's the story with Private Party? There was no story going into them winning. There's no story coming out of them winning. All we heard was they're going to be built up. They're going to be given a story. They're the tag team champions. We're going to run with this. What have they done since winning the tag team championships, Jesse? How many stories have they been involved with?
Nothing.
None.
So here's what it feels like. First off, I want to start with the segment that we just got. When Private Party came out, they got their swag on. They got some beautiful women with them. They got the biggest, baddest fucking security guard with them, opening the fucking the velvet rope thing and all that shit. They doing their thing. They the champs. They living it up. MVP and Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin came out and they immediately sucked all the coolness out of Private Party as they entered the screen. It's like they just big leagued them just by being in the same frame as them. And when they turned around and said, we're winning those tag team titles, and then walked away, I believed every goddamn syllable that came out of his mouth. I mean, Private Party comes off as a joke, and I'll explain why. It has nothing to do with Private Party. They are fantastic. They are a legitimate tag team. They've been one for years. They are great. But what they're giving right now, it feels like that someone woke up on Wednesday morning and said, hey, we're going to make Private Party World Tag Team Champions. All right? And then they did it. I'm like, all right, now they're champions because they deserve it. They've been here a long time, and we're going to make them champions. That's not how you make someone champion. Even if you've buried these guys since you hired them, there is a better way to make them champion. If you want to make someone champion who has not sniffed gold since they got there, it's going to take you months to build up a credible moment to make the fans go, yes, These guys won those fucking titles. Oh, love it. Perfect example. Tiffany Stratton just went viral because of her cash in. Why? Why was it so interesting? Because that moment has been building for months. She's talented. Everybody was waiting for that moment, and they find when's it going to happen? Is it going to happen here? Oh, they're probably going to troll us again. Oh, it's happening. I'm watching reactors mark the fuck out. Everybody had that warm, but people are crying because it was built up over months. We knew it was coming. We didn't know when. We knew she deserved it. We were waiting for it. That's not what happened with Private Party. They sucked. They're champion. That's not how you do it.
I listen. There's barely anything for me to add on top of that. They were losers for 5 years, and then you expect us to care, and the sickos are convinced, all right, they're champions now. Look, AEW is going young. They're giving the young kids the run with the titles. So I expected something to come out of Private Party's tag team title run. Nothing came out of it. AEW failed Private Party in 5 years. AEW failed Private Party after they won the tag team championships. Private Party has not grown. Private Party hasn't been given any effort. Private Party hasn't been given any story. They haven't been given any reason to legitimately have the fans care about them. And then you're asking me, and I'm arguing with people online, let it play out for a story between the Private Party guys and Hurt Syndicate. What story? The story is Tony Khan cannot build stars within his own company. That's the story. Private Party are a joke in AEW. They were given the titles for one reason and one reason only, because Tony did not want to put the titles on the Outrunners because he doesn't trust the Outrunners. He's got this thing where he feels if he goes and puts the belts on a new team that they're going to use and abuse his TV time and then take the belts and use that star power and go somewhere else. Private Party's locked down to a major long-term contract with AEW, so they got rewarded. And now they're getting rewarded by the good old fuck you. They don't give a shit about the tag team division. They don't give a shit about creating new stars. WWE gives a shit about building legitimate stars, like Jesse said in Tiffany Stratton. AEW can't be bothered. They're looking for a quick fix, and they feel like, all right, we'll put the titles on Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. Like that's going to fucking do anything. You didn't do anything with any other team before that. What makes you think Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin are going to be the difference makers that the division needs? It's not.
Nope.
What a fucking disgrace. I feel bad for Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy, man. They got the short end of the stick. Everybody thought that there was something coming out of that reign, and AEW and Tony Khan gave them legitimately nothing. Nothing.
They could have hot shot at the titles to the Outrunners. They were catching on organically. They were warming up. They were getting hot. The crowds started to tell you that we are interested in them. We want to see them. We're cheering them. We're buying their merch. You could have look, not every title change has to be a storyline that's been built for months. There is such a thing called hot shotting a title. Sometimes it works, sometimes it fails, but it's a real thing. The Outrunners completely qualified to be hot shot at the title run when they started getting hot, and they didn't do it. Well, okay, I don't know why they didn't do it. But then I know at this point they see that the Outrunners are getting hot, so maybe they're just going to do a long build and get them up there and then do a change, which is also okay. They've dropped the ball on that. The Outrunners are now cooled off. It's called striking when the iron's hot, man. They refuse to do it. I don't understand it. If your plan was to put Private Party over, great. The Outrunners are getting hot. They're getting hot. Put the titles on them. Hot shot the titles, let them win. And then, all of a sudden, turn Private Party heel, have them screw the Outrunners out of the titles right away. I mean, like a 1-week title run, some shit like that. Have them be the dicks, and then have the Outriders chase to get those titles back. And now you have both of these teams in somewhat of an interesting fucking story.
Listen, all it would have taken was 6 months. Give me 6 months to tell the story of Private Party chasing the tag team championships, falling on their luck and failing and not getting the job done. The one visual that I remember from the pay-per-view where they wrestled the Bucks and they lost, what was it, a Full Gear? They had that beautiful video package where they were in New York City and Amazing Red was in the fucking video package, giving them a pep talk and giving them some motivational speech. AEW has all the resources in the fucking world to make things matter, and you don't take a long-term plan and a vision to take Private Party from the beginning of the year up until November to build their story. This is why I say they don't have any vision for anybody. This should have been on the radar in January, have it paid off in October or whenever, November. I don't understand how you did not bring in Red to at least be a motivational speech or speaker or a manager for them. Watching them fail, only to team with them against the Elite and Okada and get Red some TV time on Dynamite. Do you know how great that would have played off? Giving them that power to say, you know what? We got our teacher here. We got our mentor here. He's bringing us back to what we used to be. And then the payoff comes. You don't have any vision or care to do anything like that, knowing where they came from, but you want to give me a video package at the pay-per-view with Red right in the thing. Why didn't you use him? Unless he didn't want to be used. Pay the man and use him to get these kids over. They did zero. Now look at them. When they lose these titles, inevitably, to the Hurt Syndicate, where do you think Private Party's going to go? There's no more Rampage for them to wrestle on. They'll be buried on fucking Collision.
Catering.
I don't believe how anybody could sit there and say that this company's in a good place, that AEW's in good shape. Just look at this. Look at that. And I got fucking check marks arguing with me. Oh, just let it play out. There's a story building it. What's the story? This is a story to you? Bobby Lashley shows up with a shot of vodka and says, we're coming for those tag team titles. That's a story to you? I find that to be a burial. Never mind a fucking story.
Bro, to anybody who may be new here or don't know or missed it, I am the king of let it play out on this channel. I am always trying to talk this guy off the ledge and say, let it play out. Has anyone noticed? I have not said let it play out in fucking months. Done. I mean, that doesn't work when it never, ever, 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 ever comes to fruition. So, no, that's out of the window, bro.
Secondly, this is another one. What happened to Swerve and Lashley and the instance where Lashley... Wasn't it at Hammerstein in one of the Hammerstein rooms shows where Swerve said he's coming for the Hurt Business? What happened to that? These guys are moving on to Private Party in the Tag Team Championships? What, did they just drop a fucking storyline out of thin air? What happened?
Swerve forgot.
Or am I losing my... What did I watch? A Mirage? Did I see Mirage on Saturday night on my TV? Where is the storyline between Swerve and Bobby Lashley? Or is it a case of AEW realizing, or maybe Bobby Lashley says, I'm not losing, and Tony's not going to fucking argue with Bobby Lashley. I'm not losing to Swerve Strickland in my second singles match here in AEW. It's almost as if they booked themselves into a fucking corner. Guy comes in, wins his first match, and then right into a loss against the same guy that he just beat weeks before. What are we doing?
I have no clue. If that was the case, why would you even start the storyline?
I don't know.
Penciled, done, worked out, talked about, and ready to go. This reminds me of the Continental Classic where they started changing the rules and shit. Why? You should have had it all mapped out. There's no reason to change anything. No one got hurt.
Bro, never mind that. Shelton Benjamin was teasing going after the TNT title within the Continental Classic because he lost to Danny Garcia. Well, what happened? Where did everything go? What am I watching?
Nah.
How could you expect people to care if you're giving them one thing and then dropping it? But then the sickos are going to be like, oh, no, they'll go back to it. Go back to what?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, but Her Business came in and literally gave business cards to all of the black people in the company. Because maybe they didn't know where they were going to go, so they were just leading out breadcrumbs. All of the black people in the company got Hurt Business cards. I'm sorry, Hurt Syndicate cards. And nothing has really come from it.
I don't know.